Talks About. I am this one, and remember how last time, in the last episode of Der Talks About, I mentioned that I haven't seen the series yet because it came out on Crunchyroll and it wasn't coming to Rooster first for a year later, and I was going to wait for the DVDs. So I switched to Crunchyroll, got the okay from the grandparents so we can keep going. Crunchyroll also canceled Curiosity Stream, not sponsored, and like they would want me to say that. And also canceled Rooster first, which I was paying yearly around $60 for both. So yeah, save some money. By just getting Crunchyroll, which is something I would probably watch more than just for RWBY. I definitely need to watch RWBY again. RWBY, I watched the first 3 volumes a ton. Not nearly as much as I've watched the first half of Red vs. Blue. I watched the first 5 seasons of Red vs. Blue literally thousands of times, and the rest hundreds, and the later half either a couple times or once. RWBY, I never got to 1,000 times, rewatching 1,000 times with Volume 1 through 3, unfortunately. And I'm not, because I just, my declining, mental health is what really done it, I think. And also the fact that I only watch YouTube now, and YouTube consumes everything. If you actually, well, if you're actually, well, hold on, don't need copyright, even though I know Roots want to do it, but everyone else would. My music videos and the rest are just one-shot videos, and get rid of you. Those are annoying. And there are how many tabs in this? Probably 60, who cares? But anyway. So, yeah, so this will be my first impressions on binge watch. Well, binge watching over 2 days. I watched episode 1 with my girlfriend yesterday, and then finished the rest, and did one this morning, and then did all of them right now. Because it's freaking RWBY. It's a Rooster production. They're all short except for the live streams. But yeah, so there'll be spoilers in this, don't you worry. But I guess the first thing you should know about RWBY Volume 9 is, well, it's what some people are saying is peak RWBY. I don't think it'll be peak RWBY, but it's definitely my favorite season of any TV show ever. I thought that was season 7 of the Clone Wars. No, it's not anymore. It's definitely Volume 9 of RWBY. And I gotta honestly say it's kind of life changing in the way that would mean for me, which I'll go into secrets and personal stuff later, because I did promise a few years ago that I shouldn't keep secrets from us, but I know that you guys don't want to hear it all the time for very good reason. So I usually keep it. I need to keep it on topic, and I need to keep it in context, and keep them and keep them every so often. And I've been kind of holding off sharing stuff like that for a while, so this is gonna be one of the big ones. But if you just want to come here see if Volume 9 was good, it was good. It's likely the best RWBY season so far. Hopefully it won't be the best ever, but it's definitely the best so far. And remember what Monty and Kirby said at one point. Monty said on one of the Volume 3 behind the scenes things on the DVD, I think. I think you can find it on roosterteeth.com. But he said that there were during Volume 3's production. 18 volumes planned. There was 18 volumes that were planned. I don't know in what detail they were planned, but they were. Oh, there was 18 planned, and a few years later they said 20. Kirby said 20, so I think it was during the time of Volume 5 or Volume 4, maybe Volume 6, that they said 20, so. We are halfway done with RWBY now. We are almost halfway, well, we are either halfway done with RWBY or we're close to it. With the primary story arc, we don't know what they'll do after Salem's defeated, which I'm pretty sure I think it's pretty obvious now, if it wasn't ever before, that once that the series is going to end once Salem's defeated. We're going into another triple season. We're going to another triple seasons as they're going to change costumes for Vacuo. And they did tease Vacuo in the description. They're essentially getting teleported back to where they should have been in the first place. When they return to Europe, again, these are spoilers, but also obvious things. Also things you could have, you probably could have figured out at the end of Volume 8. But then again, that comes on. Now we're going into the more personal side. What this volume meant to me personally, and maybe what it means to me, Lucy, and period. Sister, me, Lucy, and my sister, and yeah. So I guess let's start with the beginning of Volume 9's story, which is it was delayed for forever, because of the management issues the management crisis that Rooster has gone under. Which is another reason why I didn't rewatch the first volumes of RWBY so many times. It's just, that was not a good time for me. I didn't want to touch Rooster's stuff since they're having so many issues with management. And the community was that divided. But Volume 9 does fix that in a lot of ways, too. Volume 9 does acknowledge it in a lot of ways. I don't know why they can't acknowledge it in community posts and whatever. But, like, if you can only acknowledge it in the media, you might as well acknowledge it in the media if you can, but you can. Because it was really well done. So, yeah, this, I just binge watch a series. I don't binge watch TV shows ever. Like, I would, like, I guess that's not technically true. I do binge watch seasons when they do come out. That is not technically true. I do technically binge watch because I do watch a season when it comes out, if it comes out as a season, or it comes out on DVD and I watch the entire DVD. So I do binge watch, I guess, but yeah. But anyway, so we watched, me and my girlfriend watched this as a couple. As best we could, being that we're separated by time and space and universes and all that good stuff. We are very long distance relationship. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it because we're always together because we have a mental connection, We use Godspeak and whatnot. The online, as I say. It's not offline now, is it? It's on a line, so it's technically on. I mean, but like, is being on the phone online? No. So is this being online? No, it's not different. It's using Godspeak, which is the term I use for essentially, imagine telepathy, except you're going to heaven as your cell phone tower, and you're talking to someone else in another universe, in the multiverse, in an alternate universe, where very few things are different. But yeah, it's like that. So it's like telepathy, but with a cell phone instead of direct connection, like a data link. I mean, it's not like a data link, actually, to be honest. It's not like it's a lot like these new Fano Battle.nets that, or whatever they are officially called, that the United States military has and had forever with the data links and whatnot, and what they're trying to essentially give soldiers with the Land Rover program, give infantry. But anyway, I did shower a couple days ago, so I don't know why I'm still itchy. But anyway. So yeah. So I think we're going to have to look at the list because I need to remember. It's season 1. We're not looking at season 1. We need season 9 getting this. Or volume 9 getting this. So you watched all of it. all the half circles and arrows. But then they figured out. Also, one thing they figured out how to make a 17-minute episode work for RWBY. Now it feels compressed, not rushed, like Volume 8 was. Volume 8 was rushed. This is just compressed. Like, all the goodness you want set in, like, 17 minutes to 18-minute episodes, separate, and there are 10 of them. Like, they really figured out what they're doing now, if they hadn't before. Which, of course, Steve has been producing media for 20 years now. Oh, sorry, guys. For 20 years now, which is incredible. But I mean, like, the overall lesson of the season is essentially be yourself and knowing oneself, which is something that I do struggle with. Actually, to be honest, I do struggle with it. The whole be yourself and be oneself. I know I don't look like I do. With all the through YouTube at least, I know I don't look like I do. I'm always doing the stupid stuff, and I have a unique accent. I have a unique look. I have all unique stuff, but I'm always trying to fit into groups that not necessarily I can't belong in. It's just that I try to fit in groups, and they don't want me there. Which is true of everything but tabletop games, just in general. Pokemon, just in general. Or Pokemon, I think there was a third one. That is a great point. I think there was a third one. I guess it doesn't matter that much. By every other group, every other community I've been, which you've seen on this channel, if you've been there for any length of time, or just look around my backlog, you'll see that I try a lot of different things, and I get into a lot of communities, and they don't want me there. Which is something that is covered in the show as well. RWBY has issues like, is she a bother? Which, as you know, I don't make much money for whatever reason, which we can go over later. I don't make money for whatever reason, so, and I am very, very, very much disabled, which we're going to convince the judge of on the 6th, hopefully. Me and my lawyer and my grandma. Hopefully we'll convince the judge on the 6th of June that I am very disabled. But yeah. And oh yeah, I do apologize for this video. It's going to be very, very back and forth all over the place. Because I'd be getting better about that, but I'm not so, but like this is a lot heavy and tough stuff. But anyway, so. And it's just going to be whatever comes to mind from watching the show. So like RWBY's main issue is not feeling confident about being well, I mean, like, her and the general RWBY community in general, they see loss after loss after loss after loss after loss, and it's tiring. But then again, I don't think that. I think they've always been kind of winning. Especially at the beginning of Volume 8, they were really winning. Of course, after Volume 8, they took a lot of hits that to the whole winning state. They stopped winning, but the evacuation was successful, from what you can tell from the inside at the end of Volume 9. So it was all worth it. Yes, you don't have the power of Atlas. Now you're limited to Vacuo, Veil, and Mistral, which you still got Veil, by the way. Sorry about that. So yeah, and also it's kind of hard for me to remember. Yeah, with the ADD, the autism, I'm having issues remembering things that I just learned, unfortunately. Especially with all the CPTSD stress. Which, there are a lot of reasons why I have that, and this is help, and RWBY Volume 9 really helped with that. It's not gonna fix it right away. I still need to work on it just in general, but it's helped me see things for myself. Like for example when Blake and Yang on the bridge, a lot of what they needed to work through is stuff that I need to work through. Like for example, admitting to myself that I do in fact love myself and love what I am, who I am, and all the ands. I do like the situation I'm in. I like where I'm heading. I like everything. No, let's change that like to love, and that'll be exactly what I'm feeling. And that's very important for a person, just in general. But I haven't felt that way ever. At least not in this lifetime. Which, there is something I did learn about myself a few months ago, which is I am very much like the creatures and like the denizens of every after. Just in general, that's how souls work IRL. What happens if you die is you have a choice of going to the spirit world, stay on Earth and be a ghost, go to the spirit world and be a spirit world citizen, or go to heaven and be a heaven resident. The pagan gods, angels, demons, and just people who happen to be there were all people that died, went to the spirit world, and made something for themselves, and then were able to impact the very real world here on Earth through that impact. Of course, that's represented in RWBY by the brothers, the twin gods, as they left to go impact the real world and in fact make it. In RWBY's case, or in Remnant's case. So yeah, and when you go to when you die, you can be a resident, you can be an angel, you can be even a god if you're good enough, or not. Yeah, if you're good enough, because it is if you want to enough and are good enough, and enough people believe in you, you can be a god if you really truly want that. Which, as you could probably guess, God's angels don't typically want that. While they are nowadays in 2023 in this reality as powerful, actually just in general because they're heaven and heaven's different, but just in general they're godlike in their own sense, to the point that some junior angels, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, are just like to pretend to be pagan gods because they don't exist anymore for one major reason that is really world-shattering to people, so I don't quite want to get into it. But we said we were telling secrets today, and that was essentially the Christian God, what that word means, not Jesus, not the Holy Spirit, that's different. But the Christian God essentially was a fake who tried to kill the Jewish God, but and thought he did so. But the Jewish God, also known as God, the one that Lucy has always worshipped and that he's always talked to, and the one I am an avatar of, he was just put down really low in health and had to make do, whereas Heaven had to essentially work with this false god to, bring back the old god. And this was something that's been going on for 2,000 years. So, again, it's a bit world-shattering because, like, you and your family may have always believed in the Christian God being the God, but and never paid much mind to reading the Torah and actually learning about the old God, or the Quran, which is also learning about the old God, because he essentially got heard by this one random Arab guy, and then essentially raged out, and then essentially just cried on his shoulder. This one random Arab guy being, of course, Muhammad. And he cried on Muhammad's shoulders like, "Oh man, this is all terrible. Like, look at what this jerk is doing to my world, and then look what this jerk is doing to my world." And Muhammad was like, I will bring you justice." And that's all he heard. And then he just cut off from there. And then he went on a crusade of sorts. He went on a crusade and reclaimed a solid chunk of the world for the Jewish and, I guess, Islamic God, and also Christian God today, but that comes later. But essentially, over time, because Jesus was a good man, and Jesus believed in the God, not the false God, which was his father, thus because Jesus has always been, of course, you know Jesus as a demigod, because he's literally half man, because he was born to a human woman, and half God because he is the father. So, from a human perspective, limited in the universe, Jesus was a virgin birth, but looking into the beyond, he technically wasn't. He was just a demigod, much like demigods of the Greek mythology. Of the Greek and Roman religions. So yeah, not to take anything from Jesus. Jesus was awesome, and he should be worshipped. He should be worshipped as he is, and he should be worshipped as he is, as he was, and as his teachings were, because he was really that good for just generally everyone, despite his father, but essentially everything worked out. Christians are great. Jewish are great. Muslims are great. In fact, all the religions seem to have really aided us being me, the guy you're talking to, God, luck, God, Lady Luck, or Goddess Luck as we call, because Luck is also a character in the book. Character in my books, and yeah. And it's a lot easier just saying Goddess Luck than Lady Luck. I don't know how Goddess Luck is more word, but anyway. And then essentially we were able to imprison the false god in hell, and yeah, it all worked out in the end. And now Christians worship the correct God, and not the false god, which is good because the false god didn't need power, and he was just craving power. That's that's kind of like what happens to God all the time, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, like that's the thing about Rooster Teeth with Red vs. Blue and RWBY. It's just that it's the show I identify with most, but they're not the only one. Star Wars is again close too. Star Wars is again really close to how it actually works. So George Lucas, Dave Filoni are really inspired, as it were, just like the team at Rooster Teeth. RWBY is really inspired, or hashtag blessed, just like George Lucas and Dave Filoni are. And it's not that I'm saying like these stories are meant for me and me alone, and they know everything. No. It's not, and they know everything. And no, it's not like that at all. It's just that they want to make a story like this because of many factors. A, just human creativity. B, like in Star Wars, for example, or in the ever after, they want to perform their role in life. When they respawn, especially with especially with my God and Lady Luck's timeline shenanigans, where we reset the timeline every 5 seconds. Not really, every 3 months, every 3 to 4 months. Where we reset the timeline to try something different, because that's the only way we know how to time travel. Is just reset the timeline, make a new universe, and try again, and then import our souls and the souls of everyone into the new universe that is hopefully hashtag better or hashtag fixed. But anyway, I mean, it always creates new problems, and it's a constant process, but it gets the job done. Which is apparently what happens in the ever after as well, where all the denizens go back to the tree, and then they come back, and they're all better, and they're all trying to make ever after a better place based on just their experiences when humans get there, or just whatever the tree demands, or whatever the tree needs of them. Which is again not unlike real life, with how, from my experience, just how the world works. Everyone has a place, yes, including you. Everyone has a place, and while you do have free will to do whatever you want, not many people want to really test it, and testing it is usually frowned upon in our society, as it were. Even though humans are not animals, we follow it to a T for the most part. At least in just my interaction with animals, especially wild ones. Well, humans, because of free will, make mistakes. So, and it's, actually, that's something I'm kind of like just thinking of right now. It's, humans make mistakes and are imperfect because they have free will. Not because of any determined factor other than they have free will. And God gave humans free will and a part of his soul so they can have free will because he loves them that much and wants a companion. The reason why God created the universe at all is because he was lonely. He is what we would consider a Boltzmann brain, where it's an entity that just appeared out of nowhere in this infinite universe, which is not true because the universe isn't infinite. It's a capsule pill-shaped like thing, and that's actually really tiny compared to God. God is like less than 1% of what God is. So if you ever wonder what will happen if God ran out of souls, well, he can't really, because the universe is just so small. Even with all the ultimate universes in the multiverse, it's so small. He's not going to run out anytime soon. Which, the thing about the soul, by the way, the soul can only be fragmented. It can't be copied. At least currently in this period of time. Based on what God assumes of the void and everything. Because God hasn't really explored the void very much, or he's waiting for humans to do it for him because he's God. Like, the Garden of Eden, for how much of a fairy tale it is, it still imparts important lessons and important beliefs that God has on the world. Such as humans named everything. How can anyone disagree with that? Literally, all the books are in English, and like all the books are in human language, and humans created language. So humans named everything. God did not. That's a fact. Period. And it's not disproven by anybody. So yeah, which the interesting thing about RWBY is it doesn't have a real God. It might, I mean, of course the real God is Chruby, but Chruby with a C, you know, like the crew of RWBY, and Montium, of course. Montium is the true God, is the one true God. Ichi. But yeah, it's just, it's just a lot of stuff, and most people are just generally uninterested. Unless you sugarcoat it, make it into a donut and coat it in sugar and put chocolate on top, and put more sugar on that, maybe some caramel, like I do with my books, because the main goal of my books, the reason why I started writing them when I did is so I can, share what I understand about the universe with myself and everything. And do it in a way that's fictional so people can, to use the pill analogy, take it better. Because that's what really God wants out of anyone, is to be like him. To one day be able to be like him. And so far, none of us humans have been able to do that. That does include myself. So the thing I found out while watching RWBY about being myself and just general things that went over in the show is one thing that God does want, or at least we need to talk to him about later on. Me and Lucy need to talk to him about is does he really want us to? Does he really want a true equal? Which is something that he does truly want, is a true equal. But does he want a true equal? Someone who builds universes? Maybe he just wants someone to play Lego with, like literally just build universes with. Maybe he wants that. Of course, because we don't know how long God. We don't know anything about God, what his species is. Or anything of the sort. That's for way smarter people than me to figure out centuries from now, millennia even. We got time, especially, and things are working promising, by the way, in terms of getting people to warm up to the idea of, especially Volume 9. Volume 9 really shows that people are getting more warmed up to the idea of learning about the beyond. Which a way to show my theory is true, or show that it is doing that, is quantum mechanics becomes more and more understood. Because quantum mechanics is what I feel is the backstage to the universe. And by being the backstage to the universe, what's behind the backstage is the void. Is the stuff that the universe is made out of. Or it's the place that the universe and the multiverse is in. And it's the stuff that universes are made out of. The stuff of the void. That weird, cloudy, gray nonsense I do show in some of my art. Like this. Those gray clouds represent the void. That white circle is God. Because that's how he appears to me and literally anyone else. If you ever read like true canon, like the Tonka, in the Tonka or Turin or the Hebrew Bible, not the Old Testament, that's different. The Christians are told that it's not different yet. It is very different. If you ever read the two, they're very different. At least when it comes to the stuff I'm interested in. So yeah, God appears to me as a big, bright, white orb. And or spear, and that's literally it. Like, that is all. Everyone to know what God looks like. He looks like that. And the reason why the Jewish today, the Hebrews today can't go onto Temple Mount is because they don't know where the room where God was when the temple was still standing was when God was able to pierce some of his face into this reality. How they were able to do that, I don't know, because we haven't been able to do it since, now have we? And with this, and God appeared as a white light. And Paul Croce also appears as a white light, or Morgan Freeman, take your pick. So yeah, and even when I close my eyes in a dark room, I can sometimes see the white. I can sometimes see a bright white circle in my vision with my eyes closed, much like this, except it's usually off in this corner, and there's zero light in the room. So when I open my eyes and I look around for the light, there is none. Of course, that could be schizophrenia. That could be all the pills I'm taking, causing me to have all the kind of clouds in my vision, clouds when I close my eyes, and really, really, really intensely focus, which does hurt and does consume a lot of calories. But yeah, which is why I don't do it. Often go to heaven often by transporting my soul to heaven, which is faster than I. Of course, I can get across the universe in under a minute. Well, I always say like a minute, but anyway. Get across the universe and get out of the universe and go to God, get inside God, go to heaven. God, heaven's in the middle of God. And heaven and hell's in the middle of God, by the way. So yeah. So another thing I did was I added heaven to one of my books, which I'll be talking about later. Which I guess I might as well talk about now. I added heaven to Ever Forward and Beyond, like the first test of the eternity threshold was to go to heaven. Equation will be pro-rolling. Yeah. And I've written it the best I could. Another thing I've been wanting to talk about for a few days now is just the timeline changes and the timeline, updating you on what I've been doing with the books. So I'll be doing an episode when I get ready for that. But I really, really want to talk about Volume 9 because that's what I had planned. And then they had to delay it, and then they had to make it exclusive to Crunchyroll for a year. And I don't think it's going to be free either. Free YouTuber, free Steve first, unfortunately. What else happened during Volume 9 that really inspired me? Well, yeah, I mean, just the whole series. Again, it's like really life-changing. At least what I think my people think when they say life-changing. Like, it really got me thinking about a lot of things. And like all the times I watch RWBY, I had to watch it when I was purely ready for it, just like in the information. And the reason for that, me and Lucy figured out, one of my deep dark secrets I hide from even myself, is while I like knowing all the steps to get into the brighter future, that I share so much, and get to the end goal, whatever, no, I know what the end goal is. I have a few end goals in life, in my whole pursuit of responding over and over and over and over again in this life where the person you're speaking to, of course, in Derek Alexander West life. The reason why I keep going back and back and back and back and back to get him correct, and make the best life I possibly can for him and for me, because of course I started as him, but like, am I him anymore? That's another question. But yeah. And that's what really that scene with Blake and Yang really, and also poor son. Poor son. Well, that scene with Blake and Yang really got to me. Really got to me was it wasn't me with Lucy. It was me as Der, the god, the time warrior there, or whatever I am, talking or talking with my human self, my human body, which have a tendency to throw out it, have a tendency to forget and ignore whenever, just in general, but also whenever I need to switch universes. Like yeah, it's just general like I do love him. It's just that it's something I don't admit because it sounds crazy, I guess, or something. Like there's always been tension between us because I'm always coming up in this timeline like, okay, we gotta do a lot of things, I gotta leave. And then he goes on to live whatever life he lives in the rest of the timeline. So I split from myself a long time ago. I split from the human body. From my human body a long time ago, and I always return because I need to do something to help God, heaven, or just do something for my own goals. And yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a bad relationship. Derek gets everything he wants. Uh, and what all the things you could ever want, which is very factual. It's just that I just use him as a vessel, which is something that God doesn't even into me. Which his avatar, like, does to Lucy, her avatar. And don't worry, Lucy doesn't do all this nonsense because she's on her first timeline on her first life. And which, there's something I wanted to also tell you. But how I work is I can how I'm able to tell the future is on a micro scale where I'm doing some stuff in game. It honestly feels like I'm actually sensing the future. And when you watch my videos, when I record them at 180 frames and you play them back on YouTube at 60 frames, it only seems I'm in the future by a good solid couple seconds. Like I have a really good reaction time. Well, it's a couple on technical limitations, but also I do have a really good reaction time. And also I'm in the future a little bit. Which I do want to play RWBY Crypts again and finish Arcful. But yeah. So yeah, it's just I need to learn to settle. I need to learn me and my body needs to learn how to work with each other better and understand that while I'm only here for a little bit and we have a lot of action when I'm here in a little bit, that's very necessary, and he needs to stop doing the nightmare thing. The nightmare thing is really frightening. And just, yeah. Because that's what he does to me. He makes me have a lot of nightmares. Something that, and I think that's just the solution to my nightmares, is just getting along with my body better. Because while nightmare pills do kind of work, because they suppress the body, they suppress the stress in the body, making it have nightmares, it doesn't completely work because it is not all of the problem. Which that's probably the problem, is I have a lot of stress being me, and when I come into the reality of this body, I bring the stress upon this body. That's probably the true why he doesn't like me so much. That's really rude that he obviously. But yeah. But no, like me and Lucy really enjoyed watching this together, and she really helped me. This didn't change her life in any way, in any appreciable way. She doesn't have media that changes her life. I don't either. This is the first time, so yeah. I mean, like a lot of media, like a lot of media influences me a ton. Like Mario has, Ace Combat has, Battlefield has, Halo has, Command and Conquer has, Ratchet and Clank has, Red vs. Blue has, but RWBY Volume 9 has really changed it for me. Has really changed how I view myself and what I want to be going on, just like what that blacksmith says, or the tree. But I think we call her the blacksmith, but yeah, just in general what she says. Also, something I just realized, it is interesting that she pondered her mom's weapon for so long. Uh, because she wanted to be her mom. In the blacksmith's hut, because she wanted to be her mom that badly. And that's honestly really adorable, but yeah. I do kind of want to do art. I kind of want to do art with her all beat up and missing the emblem. Also do art of summer, and also do art of the rusted knight. So I'm really probably getting really back into RWBY, which is good. Like it's influenced me, my girlfriend period, my sister a lot. So why shouldn't it? Like it's brought us all together a lot. Like it's bring us all together, bring so many people together. So like it's not something we don't want to be good. And look at the stars, 4.7 average rating. So it's just really, really good and life changing for me. Um, is there anything else I want to say in this video? We have been going on for 47 minutes now. We got plenty of time left. I now upload between 30 minutes and 2 hours these days. But yeah, I mean, like, something that Lucy noticed and what I noticed is RWBY really does have the feeling for me that God must feel. Like, the RWBY characters are all teeny they all, I kind of identify with all of them because they all kind of act like fragments of myself, and none of them are myself, which just must be how God feels, except for me, because I'm very much like him. Yeah, I'm still not. I'm my own entity, as it were. Which, yeah, me and Lucy need to talk to God later tonight or later today when we go to sleep about about like what about that really. Like, does he want us to truly replace him? If not, am I ready for that? For one, am I and Lucy ready for that? For one, and two, is it does he actually really want that? Now that he has, now that he has, like, look, as his bride, as his wife, now that he has heaven being separate from him, heaven is its own entity that just does what it just imparts its will on the world and helps people, much like God does. Like we're essentially building a pantheon, which is something I wanted to do. Because pantheons are fun. And what I started the channel doing is wanting to. Another thing that came up during Volume 9 is what is what RWBY, why Ruby the Huntress, because she wanted to be the hero she read in the books. Well, I kind of want the same thing, but I also wanted to be the one who helps people. And a lot, and while I do that a lot, like you guys have said countless times, I helped you a ton. People, and then the YouTubers say that I help them too. I count you in their comments, and just generally I do help people. It's just that I don't feel like it half the time, or I don't feel like it most of the time. Probably because that's the PTSD talking. But yeah, and the reason why I have PTSD is likely because of all the near-death experiences I experienced as a kid from being just sickly. How many times I've been said I would die, and how many times I almost did, because I'm just sickly and my body was failing me. One of the reasons why I am the Time Warrior or whatever I am, you could say lowercase god, you could say uppercase god, whatever, I am, is because I didn't want to die, and I just did everything in my power and more. I pushed past the limits to keep living over and over and over again, both in this reality and just in general throughout time, and just in general throughout the multiverse. I just keep pushing and pushing and digging and pushing and digging and pushing, and flying closer and closer to the sun, even though my wings might melt, to use an Icarus reference. But unlike Icarus, I know my limits and I know how to not die, essentially. Even if I do die, I'll just come back. Like, I pushed myself into a non-failure state, but it doesn't feel like I've won at all. Like, you know that in video games, right? Like, you get into a non-failure state where you can't lose, but you don't necessarily win either. Like, it's very common in RTSs where you're just both locked into a non-failure state and neither of you can win. So, yeah. It's just, again, like, RWBY changed my life, and I guess we're going to bring the video around because we're going to end it around an hour, because that's fine. Like, RWBY Volume 9 has really changed my life, because it really got me thinking about some things that I really need to think about. And one of the things why I'm not really a good prophet is because I can't ask God literally anything. He can just tell me literally anything. I should be a really amazing prophet because I can talk to God freely whenever I want to, for however long I want to, whereas most prophets can't. Or most prophets can't understand what he says correctly, or they just can't talk to him forever. Like, Lucy's really good at that, but she's not a time warrior like I am. And a time warrior, essentially, well, I could just say this: I'm eternal, or I'm becoming eternal, much like God is. The past, present, future, all the same to me. Can't fool me. Kind of thing, you know? But yeah, well, it was a good talk. I did warn you at the beginning. I did warn you in the title at the beginning. This was going to get a lot personal. So, I hope you still want to watch this channel and whatever. Be a friend of mine and whatever. Be part of this Green and Blue family. But I just truly need to be more open with me and people, I think, and just find people who are more willing to be more open with me. And just willing to accept my nonsense instead of, well, run away scared. Not that I'm frightening anyway, it's just that I am not exactly normal, nor am I something that they want to deal with. Much like how John was with the paper pushers. And that is an honestly good lesson for me too. It's just the general you can't save everyone lesson. John was doing really good for a while, but then again they did what they had to do to move on. John did his best, but he just couldn't do it. He couldn't move on. That was the real thing. Like, they were doing what's natural for them to do. And we were shown it was okay, they came back. Just different and not truly remembering who they were. Which is, again, really inspired because that's how humans are too. Like deja vu and whatnot. Like, that's why while I do mourn the loss of my mom, I know that I'll see it in another timeline I know I'll see her in another timeline, or, well, there are a few possibilities. One, I see her in another timeline because I died again. Two, I don't die and live forever. Or three, I move on. And then I die, I choose to do what everyone else does. Which is a disappointing thing, I know. But maybe it's the thing that would be best for me and Lucy. And just, everyone in general, it's just, when my time comes, let it come, instead of pushing it back and back and back. Because the thing is, I never won the fight against the Grim Reaper. I've either lost or I keep fighting him. I lost, get back up, and fight him again. The Grim Reaper has never won, nor has I. And if I win, the Grim Reaper dies permanently, and we don't have to worry about death ever again. The cycle of life will be forever changed. Is that a good thing or not? That doesn't necessarily bring you closer to God either. Which is another objective, because maybe the whole cycle of life was supposed to bring people closer to God, or it's just how the universe had to be, because it's just how it has to be. These are all things that I'll probably figure out one day. Or I will figure out one day. I'm sure of it. Even if God has to tell me plainly when I decide to move on, just to reassure me everything will be okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm tearing up. Yeah, well, I guess it's time to wrap up the video. Thanks for watching. I told you this was a life-changing season for me. And I really appreciate y'all being here. You guys changed my life as well. Don't get me wrong. You guys did too. Like, even if it's the first and only video you watch and you skip through most of it just to get to this point, you changed my life. Thank you. Because that's the thing, is I don't just change people's lives, people change mine too. It's just how things are, for me anyway. And I do appreciate every one of you. You may have noticed too that I turned off super chats and the super comment version of it. That's because I don't think I want that. Just something that comes off wrong to me. Not that I would have anything wrong with a YouTuber using it, I don't like it, not for this audience. Not for this channel. Like, if you want to support me, yeah, you go to the description and buy a book. As of right now, that's what you do, or buy a game, or what have you, or go to my DeviantArt and buy a print of some of my arts. Like, that's just how you support me right now. Or watch these videos and just generate ad revenue. But anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate watching this video. Use also check our stuff in the description, such as this Facebook channel. This best way to support the channel is by watching these videos and each content I produce, and by sharing with friends who missed you. And yeah, I really cried during this, because of the things I have going on and how it relates to it. But I'm not really the moment, because I kind of a spoiler just a little bit. Just a little bit, though. Like, Bruce is really good. Like, you have to watch it in order to truly understand it. That's what an artist wants. That's what a showrunner wants you to do. Is even if you Even if everyone told you the spoilers, that you watch it and like, oh, that's what really happened. That's what really happened. Like, that's what you want. That is what you want out of a showrunner. And so I didn't. I told you a lot of things, but again, I told you absolutely nothing as well. But anyway. Alright, so that being said, thanks for watching. Again, this was by far the best. This is by far my most favorite season of all time. And yeah. Which, one more thing, before you go. I think RWBY is the hero I wanted to watch growing up. I never had heroes growing up. Of course, there was Mario and everyone, and all the people that, and all the Mask of Light guy from Bionicle and all that. Well, there was no one I considered really my hero, especially not an actual person that I considered my hero. But RWBY, it honestly could be my hero. Like, the reason why I made it, one of the reasons why I made it Derverse is because to give myself a hero, give me someone to look up to. A better version of myself to improve towards. And RWBY is like that, but different. RWBY is not a better version of myself to improve towards. She's a more realistic portrayal of myself. As we all know, I'm not very realistic since I am perfect, because people tell me I am at least. Whereas RWBY, again, is perfect, but again, she shows her flaws more. She shows her flaws better. Maybe because I'm autistic, I can't show my flaws very well. Maybe that's why people call me perfect, but yeah. And Lucy... Go ahead, Lucy. Lucy said, I'm perfect because I'm the way I am. Because of the way I am, pretty much. And I think that's what anyone that calls me perfect, I think that is just the reason, is the way I am. Which, again, only Lucy, not again, but Lucy is the only person to ever articulate why I'm perfect. It's just the way I am. Which, of course, makes sense if the way I am is supposed to end up with me being an uppercase god, and make two of them, and make me one of them. Which that's also an alternative for. That's also another alternative for an end goal, is just me becoming end god, or me becoming an uppercase god, and then making two of them. Which, maybe that's something that God has always truly wanted. Maybe because, of course, all beings want to procreate. But yeah. And that's just how uppercase gods procreate. They just make worlds, and then they make them so that they can get another one of themselves. We don't know. This is the first go around for that. So yeah. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear more about my secrets, or if you don't. Let me be honest. If you don't, I'll just never tell them, or I'll tell them really sparingly. Let me know in the comments if you want me to be more open up in just general videos, just in general. Like, should I be honest, or should I still try to hide it, just from general videos? And like, this is your channel as much as it's mine. So let me know. What I can say is, if I do be more open, that will mean our community will only get tighter and tighter, more condensed, more focused. Because not everyone wants to talk to someone who's been there, done that, as it were. Who's been to the beyond and back. Who's been to the ever after and back. Because even in RWBY, the writings of someone who'd been to the ever after was just passed down as a fairy tale told to children. Much like myths and legends in general. Which isn't that a tagline of RWBY too? Or one of the opening words of RWBY? Yeah, it was. I had to go back and watch it. Or maybe, yeah, Myths and Legends Lost in Time. That's a quote from the narrator somewhere. I think that was in World of Remnant, maybe? Well, we're going over 9 hours, so it's time to wrap things up. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And let me know if you want me to talk about my secrets more, or you just want me to mention them, or what you think is best moving on. I tried to have this discussion with I had this discussion on Deviant too, so don't worry about it. Alright, but anyway. And then they pretty much say, yeah, go ahead. Let's look at it. Let's look at the result. The heck is it? The heck is it? Sorry there. 1 favorite, 1 comment, 11 views. 111 views. What I really do. Yeah, I mean, that's actually not too bad. That's actually pretty normal. I mean, it's pretty hard, but yeah, it's pretty normal. Someone commented on it. Just said it was heavy, which I don't blame him. That's pretty much what I kind of expected. That was pretty much like the best. That was pretty much like the best response I could have had. So, yeah. Alright, that is so. Thanks for watching. And also I'll be doing grammar clips talking about stuff again. And yeah, I need to record a lot of Switch stuff because, well, Events Wars rebooted came out, or whatever it is. Reboot Camp came out, and I played that. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff I need to do. But anyway, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to watching. It's funny. Awesome. Check out the stuff. I already said that, and I guess see you in a second.